we're sending off a big grant for Department of Defense funding, we really want them to know that he's involved in the Department of Defense, and that we have active ROTC on campus, and that we're involved with the Missouri National Guard and all the things that happen. If we're talking the U.S. Department of Education or an education-based program, our accreditation gets highlighted more. Accreditation's always mentioned. So I do have those pieces. And again, as a grant writer, as a person who knows about grants, I count on you to know your discipline. I more than likely, unless it just happens to be something that I know a little something about, am not going to be able to help you with that. What I can help you with is be that other set of eyes. I can help look at it and say, well, they asked for 5 questions to be answered and Ella found answers to 4. If the 5th one's there, we need to mark that it's there, or maybe you missed it. Also, as that fresh set of eyes, I can make sure that the assumption of prior knowledge isn't necessarily there. And I can ask about the acronyms and the geek speak. Because while the reviewers will have experience in your discipline, you want to make sure that, because some federal agencies are now using non-discipline expert reviewers to do the preliminary review. They look at it and they say, okay, I don't see this. If they don't understand, if they're not familiar with the acronym, they may not forward your proposal for review. And this is happening more and more because the competition is steeper. So those are the kinds of things I can do, and I can help you build the budget. That's one thing that I find many researchers are very afraid of, or they feel like they fall down in that area. I can't tell you how to identify a plant, but I can help you figure out what that costs and how to do it. So I'm happy to help you build your budgets from the ground up. Just bring me the RFP and we'll sit down and do it. And I have worked with grants from as little as $25 to $7 or $8 million. To tell you the $25 one, we asked for more, that's what we got. It was almost as much work as a $78 million grant. Some grants are as simple as I'm working with a young lady right now who's writing an application to a foundation, and she came in, she said, it says a 3-page letter, my husband insists I've missed something. Went through the RFP, I said that's what they want. They want a 3-page letter. Then they want a budget as a separate attachment in your Vita, that's it. Well, that's just too easy. Well, foundations sometimes are different. At Lincoln University, we've had very little foundation funding. It is my hope over the course of time to see that increase. There's a lot of money out there in private foundations, and we need to be getting our share. I have confirmed that effective March 1st, there will be a site on the webpage. You will be sent an email telling you exactly where that's at on Lincoln's webpage. That will have a weekly updated posting of funding announcements. Try to make that a little easier for all of you, rather than you having to search and sort through all of those. So now, I think it's time for y'all to ask your questions. Don't everybody speak at once.
You lost a comment about that link, the link site, that's what I was going to ask you about, that we're all looking forward to it, I think, and it's not going to be tilted towards any specific field. It's going to be anything you see, right?
Exactly. It will be anything that I see that will fund things in Missouri. Okay. If it's from the Wyoming Wildlife Department, it probably is not interested in Missouri. But that's the only thing that I'm going to screen for, with the exception of also some of the hardcore medical research that's not done here. There are some researchers, however, that do some human subject research here. And so we don't have anybody here who's researching how to treat HIV in Uganda at this point. So I may not put those in.
So based on your knowledge, you just may have there's no need for that. Okay.
But almost the vast majority of them, unless I'm just absolutely positive that, if if it's to develop a new surgical technique, that is not anybody at Lincoln University. We don't have a medical school. But other than that, I'm gonna put them out there because there's no way. And as you're looking at them, you may see something that's like, oh, that's really closely related to my discipline. And that's not something that I would know. And so, I will not be screening them other than if the state of Missouri is not part of the eligibility criteria, or if it excludes institutions of higher education. There's no reason to provide that, because Lincoln cannot apply for those. But other than that, I'm working on.
Federal ones do that too,
Right, and it will be a page of threads, and each thread will tell you the agency, the name of the program, and the deadline date, and then you'll click on the link, and it'll take you directly to the website that will give you everything. So it should be relatively easy for the information to be uploaded and easy for you to access it. And that's the whole point. You'll just, and it's pretty, reading those synopses it's about a paragraph. And I will provide that general overview. The first link you click will take you to that overview, and then it will provide the link to the web page, so that you won't be opening 19 web pages and finding that only one of them is even close to your area of interest. But I will not presume to know what you might be interested in. You might have something that you woke up at 2 in the morning with this brilliant idea that nobody knows about but you.
Sure.
And all of a sudden, there you are. So that's the way that we plan to facilitate that. And it is our plan that that will carry on even beyond this series of training issues. It's going to be a permanent fixture on the webpage, at least as long as I can maintain it. Thank you. Does anybody have any other questions?
There was a question earlier, and we talked a little bit about how do you deal with the short turnaround, and I know it's been touched on, but it's really a big issue sometimes. You get maybe 2 weeks notice until the due date, and how do you prepare for those kinds of things?
Having your concept developed, knowing what it is that you want to do, and having some ideas of what it's going to cost to do it, and knowing that there are those institutional pieces. Having in mind, if I did a project along these lines, who could evaluate it? Do I have an outside evaluator? Letting people know that as soon as you can, letting people know that you're working on this. I have a whole library of things that I've been maintaining. I keep electronic copies of all the proposals that I work on. If you call me and say, hey, I'm submitting a proposal to USDA and I need that, I need a statement about Lincoln's background, I can find one. And I can find one that focuses on that perspective of what Lincoln does. They all kind of start out the same, how this institution organized. The same way with your budget. Look at what the budget's going to require. You're not going to have much more than a month ever. It's more like 3 weeks. And that you have to make that determination, can I do this? And I can't tell you yes you can or no you can't. It depends on how much time you're willing to give to it. If your concept is well developed and you're comfortable with it, writing about it, answering those questions should be relatively easy for you. If it's not, if you're looking at those questions and they're not concepts you've thought about, and you've got 10 days to get this thing turned around, you might want to think about waiting for the next time around, paying attention to this. The other thing I want to tell you is please, please be sure that you have the current funding announcement. I spent a great deal of time this week working with a faculty member who had last year's RFA. And things were very different, including the funding formulas, and we redid his budget, and then we had to go through and reorganize his narrative. And he said, he told me, he said, I didn't think we could get this done. And I said, well, I happen to have some time I can set with you and we'll get it done. But it's very, very important that you make sure you have the most current RFA. And when you're looking at those